To be able to analyze the story and answer Bagrut questions, you have to be familiar with the setting, symbols, theme, or themes, and the message of the story. The setting is determined by the time and place. As said, the story is set at the end of World War I on a ship traveling from San Francisco to Yokohama in Japan. The setting is significant because of three aspects. First, the end of the war. When the World War ended, many people wanted to travel. The shipliners were therefore very busy and crowded. Now, we can better understand why the narrator had to share his cabin with Mr. Kalada. Second, World War I was a period of national pride and racist attitude towards what and who was different. Set at the end of that war, we understand why the narrator is so proud of being English, and why he does not like Mr. Kalada whatsoever. Lastly, the ship is traveling in international waters. This is meaningful for two reasons. First, the ship is a closed place, and the passengers cannot run away from what they do not like. This forces the narrator to face his racist perceptions and bear Mr. Kalada. He can change his mind about Mr. Kalada only because he spends enough time with him on the ship. Secondly, traveling in international waters means that on that ship, no nationality is superior to another, meaning everyone is equal. Symbols are objects in the text that have deeper meanings than it first appears. They are meant to emphasize the meaning of the story by relating to the story's theme, message, or characters. The main symbol in the story Mr. Know-All is pearls. Natural real pearls are very unique and expensive. The Japanese have found a way to imitate real pearls and created very convincing fake pearls known as cultured pearls. Generally, pearls symbolize purity. In the story, they symbolize something that may look one way, but is actually the other way around. Mrs. Ramsey is described as gentle, delicate, and fine, just like a real pearl. However, cheating on her husband makes us realize her gentleness and delicacy are just imitation. She is fake. So, she looks like one thing, but she turns out to be the exact opposite. Like her, Mr. Kalada is considered as arrogant and vain, but after he gives up his reputation, he turns out to be a real gentleman. In both cases, like with real and fake pearls, we realize how appearance may be misleading. To sum up, the pearls symbolize how things are not always as they seem. While the pearls are the main symbol, the labels on Mr. Kalada's suitcases are also important. They symbolize the labels with which people tend to tag those who are different than them. Of course, the many labels on Mr. Kalada's suitcases teach us he travels a lot, but they also teach us how people tag and prejudice him based on his appearance and behavior, which, as we learn later on, is wrong and does not represent his real character. The theme is the general main idea expressed in the story and may be conveyed directly or indirectly. While there is always one general theme, some stories may have additional minor themes. The theme in the story Mr. Know-All is prejudice. Right from the beginning, we see how the narrator relates to Mr. Kalada, expressing harsh, negative feelings about him because of his different looks and behavior. He judges him according to stereotypes, assuming, for example, a man who looks and behaves like him would only care about himself and not about others. As we know, this assumption turns out to be wrong. The narrator's initial judgment, or better, prejudice, proves to not really characterize Mr. Kalada's personality. The message in the story refers to what the author would like to teach the readers through his or her writing. It is connected directly to the theme, so when you discuss the message of the story, you would have to state the theme as well. The message of the story, Mr. Know-All, is to not prejudice people, and to remember that appearance and first impressions may be misleading. In different cases throughout the story, we learn how what initially looks in a certain way turns out to be completely different. Moam invites his readers to remember to not judge a book by its cover, and avoid reliance on prejudice and stereotypes. So, Are you ready for your analysis and interpretation questions? Test yourself by answering the following questions. You can always go back to the different aspects presented in this video. Check out the answers file provided for this unit when you're done. 1. What is the setting of the story? How does it contribute to your understanding of the story? 2. What do the pearls symbolize in the story? 3. What is the theme of the story? How is it expressed throughout the story? 4. What is the message the author tries to convey?